What advice do you have to give new LOs, like new loan officers who just got licensed? You have no idea about guidelines. You had no idea about programs or products. To answer your question, Diego, you don't necessarily need to know right now at the beginning the guidelines or programs and products. What you need to do is start to adapt the habit of finding products for your clients, right? So right now you're trying to find clients for your products, and that's why it seems confusing. But what you need to learn, and this is something that I wish I started from the very beginning, was learning how to serve your client. So you got to understand what they're trying to do. And they're always going to say, like, I want the lowest rate. They're always going to say, I want the 1% 15-year fix. They're always going to say, I want the free loan. That's just what they say. You have to accept that. You have to understand that. You have to agree with it all the time. So even though we know it's not available and someone calls you and like, hey, I want that 1% 30-year fix, still, it's the same response every single time. Yeah, absolutely. Let me show you how to get that. That's it. It's just a default response. Yeah, absolutely. Let me show you how to get that. And why do you do that? The reason why is because most LOs, what they do is they say, oh, 1% fixed, 30 years, not available. Market rate is up. And that's resistance, right? And the reason why that's not the right thing to do is because you don't have the opportunity to understand why dude is asking for 1%. Now, you have to understand that people who are not in our industry or understand our terminology, what they do is they look at their rate. And so let's say if they had a 2.5% rate, what they do is they think like, okay, I need to save $200 or $500. And they look at their rate and they're, oh man, the only way I could save $500 is if I lower this rate by a full point, right? So I need to get a 1.5 because that's the only way they understand it. And they think like, okay, I need to lower my mortgage because my mortgage is the biggest debt, but how am I going to lower it $500? Oh, the only way I could do that is if I lower it a full point, a 1.5. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask for a 1.5 with no closing costs. So that is their thought process. And you can't blame them, right? Because they don't understand. But what you can do is just agree, right? The last thing you wanna do is show resistance and say, oh yeah, that's not even possible, or that's not available, market rates are up. Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna close them out, but what you need to do is actually bring them in. And when you bring them in, you're going to understand the reason why they need $500 monthly savings is because they want to pay off their credit cards, or they want to, offset the loss of income, from the spouse or whatever. But what you'll find is that there are other ways to create that savings, right? Most in particular, besides cash out, payment deferral, escrow balance refund. And now you free up, let's say $6,000 of cash flow to them, right? Otherwise they wouldn't get it. And that $6,000 of cash flow could very well pay off maybe a car loan that they spend $300 a month or $500 a month, right? Or maybe that $6,000 can go towards credit cards that they're currently paying off, but the total payments that they send is $600. Does that make sense? So you need to figure that part out first before, shutting them down and say, oh man, this person only wants this rate. No, they don't. They want the results that they believe they can get from that rate. They want the breathing room that they believe that rate can give them. But you need to give yourself the chance to educate them, be the consultant, right? So I'm sure there's plenty of times where you went somewhere and you had in mind a price to pay, or I'm gonna do this. But after they educated you, you ended up buying something different, right? Like, oh man, I need that after all. I'm gonna go ahead and buy this, right? Or I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And it's all because they took the time to understand what it is you're looking for.